Welcome back to Toledo's original 9 a.m. show. Good day.
Yeah, so imagine something that's been tucked away, maybe lost for nearly 25 years. Then, well, you stumble upon it, you bring it out of hiding, and, well, you make perfect use of it. You could do that with all sorts of things.
Or our next guest, he does it, and he did that with his music. Local singer-songwriter Scott Fish is with us this morning.
Good morning.
So, Scott, that's what we're talking about. You have brought something back from the past, and you're re-releasing it. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, it's actually not even a re-release because it was never released.
Okay.
So it was a full album I recorded with Mark Michael in his studio back in 1997. Recorded analog, 18-track, or 16-track, I'm sorry, analog, reel-to-reel. And I had it on cassette and I had it on my computer for years, but I shared it with people, but I just never did anything with it officially. So I decided now was the time to put it out on Spotify and Apple Music and around the world, and it's called Trouble in Suburbia. And that's the full album is now available. So
when you did this back in '97, you said cassette tape. You remember those, right?
Yeah, you remember those.
But it was a lot more difficult or challenging, I would imagine, to get your music out than it is now when you have a digital copy of it.
Yeah, it was impossible, really. You made these things because that's just what you do, and then when you got done with it, you were just like, oh, yeah, that's done. Maybe I'll make another one.
Yeah, maybe I'll do it again.
And I know, Scott, with some musicians, they make a lot of songs, but sometimes they just don't release them. So back in '97, you said you didn't release this. You just let a few people listen to it. So why didn't you release it then, and what made you say, hey, let's release it now?
I had a band called Tomorrow's Clown that Mark also produced, and in '96, we put out a CD. And it cost a lot of money, and it took a lot of effort and time, and I still had a lot of them, and I was still promoting it. So part of it was like, well, I'm kind of in the middle of this, so maybe that was part of it. And then I got married, I had little kids,
Life happens.
Cut my hair, I grew some of it back, but it just never came back as thick for some reason.
It happens like that, trust me, I know. But now you've listened to it and you said, hey, the world needs to hear this.
Yeah, it's actually probably the best recordings that I've ever been involved in, and that was part of the reason. I mean, in my opinion, I've made a lot of really good recordings with a lot of good producers, but Mark's top notch. A lot of people in Toledo don't know. He's worked with Alan Parsons. He had his own album, The Pillbugs, or group. Actually, Scott Tabner, who is Oris Tabner's son, played with Mark for years. He was his guitarist. So Mark and his work on this just needed to be heard.
Yeah, so we're going to hear a little bit of it this morning.
You're going to hear a live version.
What are you going to play?
I'm going to play a song called One Lane Bridge, which is about a one-lane bridge out in Berkey, Ohio, that all the kids in high school used to go out to and hang out, and it's just sort of using that as a juxtaposition of my life, like that's the pivotal point where I grew up as a man and I can't go back across the one lane.
Okay, all right.
Well, take it away.
Sense. Yeah, take us back to the 90s.
One lane bridge on Ohio country road. Once I found myself and I slowly let me go. Across a crooked stream and down into the night. Felt I could do no wrong, now I can do no right. I've got to find my way back tonight. Gotta set it right. See, a gate swings open and the door slams shut, and I can't help but think maybe I dug this rut. Just a few more days, could my time be up? Am I willing to drink from this half-empty cup? I've got to find my way back tonight. Gotta set it right. And the trees and canyons and mountain streams, leaves and rest between sheets and blankets and dreams. So I block out the pain and choose my memories. Somehow it seems the same, but I was never really free. And that one-lane bridge was a one-way street. Now I can't go back, and I know it wasn't me. I got to find my way back tonight. Gotta set things right, and the trees and canyons and mountain streams, leaves and valleys and moonlit beams, treasure and tragedy and all that it seems, rest between sheets and blankets and dreams. Yeah, the trees and canyons and mountain streams, leaves and valleys and moonlit beams, treasure and tragedy and all that it seems, rest between sheets and blankets and dreams. Yeah, dreams. That one-lane bridge on Ohio Country Road. Once I found myself, then it slowly let me go.
All right. Tell us again where people can find your music.
It's on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, all of it, all of them.
Anywhere
Amazon.
you get your music.
What's that?
Anywhere you get your
Anywhere
music.
you get your music, pretty much.
And that was the goal with this, just to get it out
That
there?
was the goal. I do have, I'm going to do a limited run of physical copies, but
Okay.
but it's more just for friends and fans at shows. You know, nowadays people don't really buy CDs, so what I do is make a personal connection, and if someone, first thing I ask them is, do you have a CD player? Because if you don't, I'm not giving you this.
Yeah.
But I usually just give them out. They're kind of a party favorite at my gigs.
Yeah,
you know,
very
so.
good. All right, we'll get on your phone, get that downloaded. Scott, thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you guys so
Yeah.
much.
We'll be back right after this. Stay with us.